Welcome everybody to our virtual event, changes to the wage subsidy, how to access them and why that's important for your business. We have with us two excellent presenters today, Nimi Bangert and Alberto. Oh my goodness, I can't say your last name, Alberto.
Oh, I was waiting for that one, actually.
Darn it. Oh, you're waiting for the opportunity. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to try and keep this really tight, but ultimately as an organization that's hiring right now, these changes really affect you and can make a big difference to your success in the immediate future. So I think that it's really important that we go through them, and I'm excited that we have an opportunity to do that. And the other great thing is you're going to get an opportunity to meet the people who can help you steer it across the finish line, which is often the challenge for businesses. We can, we want to apply for these things, but actually taking the time to make it happen doesn't always work. So I've got Stephen O'Shea coming in here too. Okay, so I'm going to put it right over to you, Alberto, from Wage BC, from Workpc. Go ahead.
Wage BC.
Well, it'd be nice to have a Wage BC. I
want
to be part of Wage BC.
So, hi, good morning. Thanks for being here today. As Arnold said, my name is Alberto. Last name is a little complicated, Chavala. So I would have given you points just to say it correctly, Arnold. So thank you for trying at least.
Chavala.
Yes, I'm the center coordinator for Workpc in New Westminster. And the reason why we're so excited about wage subsidies is because with some recent changes by the provincial government, it used to be only for people attached to employment insurance, to EI, and then they decided since November to open it for every single person that comes into our center. Again, eligible to work in BC, permanent residents or citizens, right? Not just anyone. So I'll rephrase that one. And so the reason why it's so important, the government really wants people to get back to work. And one of the things they believe can really help is to have a wage subsidy, which basically means Workpc would pay partially for the salary of the people you hire. We have a little presentation here that I'll use it right now. Hopefully it works. So I have to click on share screen here and choose the appropriate one. Share, here it is.
It's working, Alberto.
It is working. I just need to click on view. Oh, sorry, slideshow and from beginning. So, yes, this is us. Fraser Works, we are a combination of non-profit organizations under the umbrella Workpc of Fraser Works, subcontracted by the provincial government to offer Workpc services. So we are not the government, but we have the contract from them. As I mentioned before, the goal, a very nice goal, is to help all British Columbians successfully navigate BC's labor market and offer tools. One of the fantastic tools we can offer is wage subsidy. And again, it's fantastic because now we can offer it across the board. How do we help? We help employers find the right talent to grow their businesses, and we get people. And I need to move my own little camera here. I'm in the way of myself. To find jobs, explore career options, and improve their skills. Many people, they have these skills, but they don't have the experience. Some people have the experience, but they don't have the certificates. And this is where wage subsidy can really come in handy, because someone who just not too happy to hire them, but with the subsidies, a hiring incentive, and hopefully ease up the learning curve.
So yeah, just as Alberto was saying, Alberto, we're losing you a little bit.
To help with this, in myself.
Alberto?
Yes.
I don't know if it's just me, but you're lagging a little bit.
Oh, but I'm right here.
No.
Yeah, no, I got a little sign saying that my internet is slow, but I don't know how to do with that.
Yeah, okay.
I think okay just keep going, but and I mean, if you want to fill in that piece that Alberto just said.
Yep, sure. Yeah, so what Alberto was saying is our job here at Workpc is to support people who are both looking for work and employers who are looking to hire talent. And the people who are looking for work, we support them by assisting them with the job search, exploring career options, but we also support them by providing career-related training. So if there's anybody that that is looking to perhaps re-enter the workforce or is looking to get back to work, which is the same thing, they can come in and talk to us, and if it's career-related training that will help them get ahead, then we're able to support them. But part of that training, as Alberta was saying, relates to the wage subsidy that we are providing. So that, and I won't get too far ahead because Alberta's got the information, but it'll basically,
now.
Yeah. And so basically, it will help employers hire that talent, help them onboard that talent, and subsidize some of that cost. Over to you, Alberto.
Thank you. Hopefully it works. I didn't know it was lagging so much. So yes. So how can wage subsidy help? Again, wage subsidy can help by minimizing the impact of hiring new people or rehiring previous staff, which if you're not making enough money, of course, in difficult times, then you will benefit from getting some money paid back by Workpc. At the end of the presentation, I'll let you know how exactly that works and the amounts, more or less, depending on the wages, of course, but the amounts are based on percentages. So when we finish this, of course, questions, and I'll talk more about how much money, which is a question everyone wants to know, how much money will I save, right? So the wage subsidies will cover a portion, and I'm going to get myself tiny again. A portion of wages for employers. You can hire new employers, of course, and also a new thing that we were not allowed to do before. We were not allowed to use wage subsidy if there was a pre-existing knowledge between the employer and the employee, but now they also changed those rules. And you can rehire employees that were laid off due to COVID or because of there was no making money, right? And it basically helps to reduce related barriers for employees with disabilities. We can also help if you need to spend more money to accommodate people with disabilities. That's also part of the subsidy. So yeah, we're open and we like to help. And the question is, am I eligible? And yes, basically with the new rules, any business registered in BC is eligible. Of course, the business has to be in good standing and has had to have been in business for more than 1 year. The job has to be full-time. If you are hiring a client with a disability or visible at risk like youth, we can make some exceptions for part-time, but usually we will prefer to be a full-time job. The job has to be there since the beginning, and the job has to be there after the subsidy ends. Yes, we can also use it to gain experience, but ideally, the job will continue once the subsidy ends. That's what we like to do. We like to ensure that clients have a job and keep their job. You are not currently working for another business. I mean, you are your own business. And the job, of course, has to be here in BC.
So just to confirm then, Alberto.
Yes.
If we're hiring somebody with a disability, then we are able to, as an employer, you're able to hire somebody on less than 35 hours, correct?
Yes, you can do part-time. And also, like I mentioned before, we can help with the improvements you need to make in your business, accommodations, maybe some special desk or something within reason, of course. So we can gladly help because we want people to get employed. So the process to apply for a subsidy, it used to be a little more convoluted. You would have to call us and then we will send you a form, but now you can do it online. How to apply online? Then I have a link here that I can go so far, but I can still show. And it was working this morning, so hopefully it's still working today. Sorry, right now. Right. And it's a little slow. And this is the awkward pause where we're waiting for things to work.
I think you might need to scroll down and click on the link underneath it, Alberto. So if you click on that and then it'll pop up.
Yeah, I was going to see if it's here somewhere. Da, da, da. Did it come? Oh yeah, there it is. Can you see it?
No, we can't. We can still see just
Okay.
the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm realizing that right now. So I don't have.
And I have a question, Alberto,
Yes.
which might be better for the end, but just talking about the requirements for full-time and the job being there after. Obviously, you can't predict the future. And so I had a question about that. Does that be better for the end, or should I ask that question now?
Well, you can, I'm just trying to find out how to go to a different screen sharing.
If you stop sharing this screen, it's probably easier. Then you can just share the entire screen.
Stop sharing
Oh.
the screen.
Okay, stop sharing. Okay, we can, let's watch your question, Arnold.
Well, I guess my question was, when you hire someone and you expect them to be full-time, obviously they continue to work, but if things happen in the future, and say the job is no longer there, what happens after that in terms of the wage subsidy? So like the business shuts down, or you don't get the turnaround that you were hoping for. Is that what? Can you explain what happens after that, or is that a process of review by you guys?
No. What happens is that it was not successful, and that's it. Okay. There's no penalties. There's no payback. There's no nothing. It's just everything's done here in good faith and with the hope that it will work, right?
Okay, so as long as there's a clear intention that this is going to be a full-time job moving forward, and that's ultimately what the goal is, then they qualify for the program.
Yeah,
Yes.
So it can't be identified as a summer job. I think that would be because that
would be temporary. Yes,
that's a defined date. So a summer job would not qualify. But if you are hiring somebody, say as a front office person, and you need to bring them up to speed with whatever it is that your office uses in terms of programming and that kind of thing, then for that period of time where you're onboarding the candidate, you're able to get support for that period of time. The intent is that job will continue and the business will thrive, but obviously there's no guarantees on anything, right? So
like Arnold was saying, if things happen, things change again, then the subsidy ends, and until the last payment we did, and then we close our part, but there's nothing for the business, no penalties, no paying back. If that's part of your question, Arnold, I'm not sure.
That's great. No, I think that answers it. Thank you.
Okay, so now I think I can share again, and I'll go to here. So you click on that link that
Oh, still not sharing yet, Alberto. There we go.
No, now I am.
Now
I guess.
yes.
You got it. Great job.
Please, it's just thank you. This is where you'll get, if you go into the Workpc webpage and go for the wage subsidy, this is what you'll get. You will apply with their identify employee. And so you would click under here. And
just to clarify, Alberto, the identified employee means the employer is bringing someone that they've identified.
Yes.
And if you don't have somebody that you have identified,
you click on here. If you have a space for a wage subsidy, but you have not identified a potential employee, you would apply, saying apply to be matched to our Workpc client. Our Workpc offers, we offer employment-ready clients or potential employees. And of course, it's up to you to decide who you hire, but at least we can go into our database and send information to you to decide. If you already know a person that you would like to hire or rehire, and you believe that a subsidy would be very useful, then you click on apply with the identified employee. Most of the wage subsidies we have received are from employers or businesses that already have someone in mind. So that has happened more often. So for a good reason, I guess, especially the service industry, that they had to lay off some of their staff and now they're thinking of rehiring them because you know them, you know how they work. They will be very happy to come back, but maybe not make a lot of money. So let's use the wage subsidy as long as it's full time. So you would click on start, start somewhere. And I think this is as far as I can go without starting. So you will start, you're currently working with a Workpc Center. The answer is yes, you are working with Workpc Center, New Westminster. Actually, that's the answer we would like you to put in there.
It's the best one.
It's the best one. I agree with you. And then start going through the boxes. This is one of those places that you start writing your address and it self-populates, and they just want you to validate it. The ministry didn't let us have a training environment to create a fake business and go through the whole process, but it's really straightforward. And if you get stuck somewhere along the process, you can always give us a call and we will try to walk you through. And now I learned the trick. I have to unshare and then share back.
Hey, Alberto, one question I had is if business is wants both streams. Say, yes, I'm interested in applicants from Workpc, but I'm also hiring on my own. How hard is it to choose to switch streams? Like if we want you to be matched, but we're also hiring, can you go back and forth, or how does that work?
You can apply both ways, I believe. No one has done it so far. But what happens, let's say, if we already have an existing subsidy placed with that specific business, and then the owner is very happy with how we're doing things, they can feel free to send us 3 or 4 more potential employees, and we will do the whole paperwork.
Okay.
I think the business is allowed to have 5 wage subsidies at the same time. And that's also a new thing. We were not allowed to do that before, but now we can.
That's great.
I know, it's awesome, and that's why we're pushing so hard, because it's an amazing tool. And
let's get all the money from the government in New Westminster.
Exactly. While they still have the money, let's use it right before they run out of it.
We need everybody in New Westminster to know about this and apply, because they're going to run out of money at some point. We want it all.
Exactly.
So, quick question for you, Alberto: how long does it take for employers to complete the online form?
I think if they really get into it, it would be 20 minutes.
Okay. If you have all the documentation you need, then it takes
all the answers, most of the questions, you already have the answers if it's your own business, or if you're the HR of the business, you have the answers. The only part that is not included in the application, and we have been trying to get that with the government, with the ministry, is the percentage of the MERCs. So they talk about the money, about percentages, they talk about the subsidy, but we have been trying so hard to get them to include the MERCs in the online application. So because they haven't done it yet, don't ask me why. Then we would do it manually when you do the agreement. We would send our the title eludes me again, Pushpinder, our work experience specialist.
Yes.
And she would be also doing the MERCs, the percentage of the individual employee, not as the company percentages. So yeah, but everything's negotiated.
Alberto, can you explain what MERCs are? Mandatory
employment related costs.
Right.
Right? Am I crazy?
Yes.
No?
I think that's right.
I think you're right.
Mandatory employment related costs. So
that doesn't include vacation pay, by the way, but it's CPP, EI, and one more that I cannot remember. But those are based on percentages. It's not a flat fee. And that's why our work experience specialist would negotiate it with the employer individually. The percentages for subsidy are very clear. And but the MERCs are to be negotiated, and they're not part of this. They're different. We get different pot of money. One thing for subsidy, another one for MERCs. Of course, with the employer, it all comes together, right? But that's part of the whole thing. So let's go back to share screen, and let's go back to our presentation. You see, I'm getting so good now. Wrong screen. You see, I'm just saying I'm getting so good, and then I get it wrong. Okay, so this is where we were. And oh no, not from beginning. No.
From current slide.
Yeah. I clicked on the wrong one, but I'll go back there quickly. And
It's good review.
Good review. I feel bad for the people who watch this in a recording because they're going to go through things again.
No, this is perfect. They need all this.
Okay, how to get it? Of course, apply online. That will be the easiest and fastest way. You can hire someone new. You can recall an employee that was laid off. This is a recap. Or get Workpc to match you with a local job seeker. By local, I mean one of our clients. And you can complete the application on your own, or you can call us, please. We can guide you through. Pushpinder will gladly help you if you get stuck somewhere in the registration, or help the client. We can help you with your application. You can ask more questions about the program that maybe I don't have all the answers or very specific. We'll try to match you with a local job seeker if you don't have identified the employee. And again, I'm repeating myself here because I'm talking faster than the presentation. Guided support to complete the application. So, so far, are there any questions? There's a little bit more I'd like to say, but as of this part, are there any questions?
I do have another question,
Yes,
although
please.
I don't want to take, everybody can just use the raise the hand function if they want to ask a question, or they just unmute themselves. We know that we trust this group here. Now, I do have a question around, oh, there you go. Is it only specific industry for restaurant or retail?
No, it's for any industry. Right
Great
now,
question.
there's a little, it's because most of the restaurants, they're reopening now, so maybe they're thinking of rehiring, but no, it's for any industry. It's same rules apply.
So just so people know, we've placed people in wage subsidies in with the admin positions, with accounting positions, with a whole host of different industries. Really, it's not based on your industry, it's based on the need and the identified support that you require.
Exactly.
Now, is there any kind of like audit after? So for example, you hire somebody, there's no audit of what they're actually doing after you hire them, or is there? I'm just curious because I'm thinking like if, you know, a business is, for example, banded together and, you know, may not be the spirit of it, but one person hires them and they may be, you know, like that person's helping multiple businesses. I suppose that would probably be frowned upon by the government, but ultimately it is full-time work and paid by one employer. Is that what would be the? Do you guys have? Is there a sense of what that would be?
Well, when we elaborate the agreement that has to be signed by the employer, Workpc, and the client, the employee, we have to determine the activities that the client will be doing. If it's different activities, as close as we can tell, right? No, there's no accountability in that sense, but we do monthly reports to find out how things are going and what are the things that how the business happening and how's our client or your employee doing. So in that sense, there's some accountability, but not as far as going and audit what's happening. No.
And that process, that monthly process isn't forever. It's just during the 12 weeks or the time of
yes,
the wage subsidy.
Once the wage subsidy ends, we consider, while the client is in wage subsidy, we don't consider them employed yet. They are in an intervention, in a wage subsidy intervention. So for us, we would continue following up with the client after the subsidy end, but as employed, which is completely different. It's just for our own stats.
Got it. And
so just real quick, sorry, Arnold, just to jump in there. So the wage subsidy, once you have identified a client and you're attached to a center, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Alberto, and you're assigned to a center, then our wage experience specialist will be in touch with the employee candidate on a monthly basis, just to check in to make sure that things are going the way they're supposed to be going.
And of course, also
and
with
you're
the
not
employer.
Yeah, and you're not hiring somebody and having them photocopy for 12 hours a day, that kind of thing, right? So it really is a learning that's taking place. So that the wage experience specialist will be in touch with the employer. And so she's your support, really. If you have issues or you have clarification required, she's really your on the ground support who will help you through the entire process until that candidate becomes your employee, whatever the arrangement is with the length of time that you have and that kind of thing.
And Alberta, I'm assuming at some point you're going to go through the length of time or what's possible
Yes.
to get received.
Yes.
Are you also going to talk about how long the approval process is?
Yes, that's the part that's not in the presentation. So if there's no more further questions, then I'll continue with the amount, the process, and the length, which is exactly what I was going to do. So basically, the wage subsidy is for a period of 24 weeks. The subsidy, it used to be 50% across the board. Now they changed the rules also because now it's open for everyone. So the first 8 weeks, the subsidy would be 50% or up to a maximum of $500 a week, whatever is less. The second 8 weeks, or the second third, is a 25% subsidy or up to a maximum of $250. And the last 8 weeks, it's 15% subsidy or up to a maximum of $150 a week. Again, mercs are taken separately. And if you put the maximums, let's say someone is getting the 500 and the 250 and the 150, the maximum subsidy you can get is $10,200 in a period of 24 weeks. You would send the, it's not the invoice, what is the word I'm looking for? The claim form to us, and then we would reimburse you the agreed upon amounts depending on the week of the subsidy.
And do you get those subsidy amounts at the end of the 24 weeks or weekly, or how is that paid out?
Well, we paid it monthly. If the employer pays monthly, we go monthly. If they pay bi-weekly and they submit the claims, we get them as soon as we can.
Great.
It all goes through our accounting department. So we get the claim and it's not on check issue day. Maybe it'll take 2 more days, but eventually, yes. Let's say on a weekly basis, every 2 weeks. And if you pay your employees, you don't pay them hourly, you pay them wages. We calculate how much it would be hourly, as close as possible, because that's how the system works for us. But it usually does the trick. Now, any questions?
Hi, Faye
Hi.
here.
Yes,
Just
Faye.
wondering if you can go through the weeks and the amounts. I guess my connection isn't very great. It would kind of up a bit. For 24 weeks total, but I didn't catch.
Yes, don't worry, Faye.
Second.
Apparently my connection is not great either, so don't worry. So the first 8 weeks would be 50% subsidy or up to a maximum of $500 a week. The second third or the next 8 weeks would be 25% subsidy or up to a maximum of $250. Again, whichever is less. And the last 8 weeks, the last third would be 15% subsidy or up to a maximum of $150. Again, whichever is less.
And the total?
The total, if you go through the maximums, you would save $7,500. And again, that's not including the mercs. Of course, the mercs are a few dollars here and there, right? But yes, it's not the same pot of money.
Is that $7,200 or $7,500?
$7,200, sir.
200. Great.
Okay.
Hey, was that clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, don't worry. Thanks. Right. It's hard talking into seeing myself is kind of weird. So after 1 year of doing it, I'm still not very used to it. So it's okay.
There's a question in the chat, Alberto. Is
this a separate wage subsidy?
Yeah.
If you are calculating CEWs.
Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy?
No, if and that's a very good question, actually, because if the business already applied for the emergency wage subsidies, I think it will be double dipping if you get, unless it's for a completely different employee and you apply for the emergency benefits for 5 people, but you have other 5 people, and it can be a little, yes, not for the same employee, of course.
So I think what Alberto is saying is case by case.
Yes, basically that's what I'm saying.
So if the organization qualifies for the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy, then they would not qualify for this program.
If it's for the same employees, no. Because then that would be the money coming from the same place, right? A little
Yeah.
double dipping. And
So that's not necessarily the case. I think it really is dependent on who you're making the claim for. If you are making the claim for a new employee, or if you're making a claim for somebody that you're bringing back again, there's potential that you might be able to make that application. But if you are already getting the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy for a group of employees, then that group would not qualify.
Okay, so if you are in have qualified for Qs, don't abandon the, check it out, give you guys a call and see if it works.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
that would be safer, actually. The rules are changing all the time, but yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yes.
Thanks, Nimi. That's I think that's important info. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say as an employer, you decide that you either have a candidate or you're looking for someone. Well, let's talk about if you already have a candidate, you're rehiring someone. So you go online, you do your portion at the Workpc portal, you register. Once you complete the registration, I think somewhere along the application, you will be giving the email of the potential employee. The employee will get that email, and the email is prompting the employee to register for services. And this is very important because only clients that have registered for Workpc services would be eligible for wage subsidy. So why I'm saying this, sometimes we have some employers, they send us we get the link that they applied. And then when we contact them, we find out that the person already started working the day before. And the person didn't even register for Workpc services. And then we are like, So either the employer is able to take at least 1 week paying full salary, or would have to be laid off immediately, and then client applied for Workpc services, register with us, and then we'll take it from there. Some clients or potential employees, they get the email, but they disregard it. They just think it's one more email for some reason. Yes, Nimi.
I just want to clarify, and maybe you can clarify, Alberto, when we say that we need the employee to register for Workpc services, we are not saying that they need to come in here and attend workshops and anything else. What we are saying is that they need to apply so that we can apply the wage subsidy program to this employee, correct?
That is correct.
Just wanted to clarify that.
So much nicer when you say it. Thank you.
Well done.
So, again,
just Alberto, you said something I want to clarify.
Yes.
So if they've applied, they have the link, the person starts, and then the person registers after they started, you're saying that they still could potentially qualify for the program because they were part of the process, but they might have a gap of the benefits payment. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. If they're already in payroll and HR and they already have them started working before they even are clients, it will be very hard because we cannot do it retroactively, because then the agreement will look a little wonky, right? So, and that's why if you know the employee or the potential employee, you really have to let them know that if they don't register, they don't do their part, it will be impossible for us to do the subsidy. Only for registered clients.
Another question from Viina is, can the bookkeeper apply for the wage subsidy for the business owner?
Of course. If the bookkeeper knows all the answers, of course. And of course, if the owner is agreeing, right?
Right. So the owner would be agreeing to the wage,
Yeah, and there's no place to sign. I'm doing it on behalf. No.
the HR prefers.
Just go for it. Exactly.
Okay.
And just another clarification is we prefer in the process, it's not always possible, but we prefer in the process for employers or whoever's applying on behalf of the employer to apply before you have the candidate start working.
Before the start date of the
Before
job.
the start date.
That was my next point.
Oh, sorry.
So, no. How can you know? You're going to read my mind, right? Thank God for that.
Timmy's good at that, though. She's a good man.
My wife thinks she can read my mind, but no, she cannot. And thankfully too. Yes, we can go crazy trying to get something done quickly, but ideally we would like 1 to 2 weeks to get the application and to get the client, because there's some paperwork involved back and forth. And now in this virtual world, maybe it'll change in September. We don't know. It's this back and forth emails and sending this and receiving that. We can do it in a week if everything is in place. But if we can get a little bit more head start, would be very nice, and not suddenly, we started yesterday or it starts tomorrow, right? So at least a week, ideally 2 weeks. I know it's sometimes a decision in the moment, but yes, it's a process, and sometimes it takes maybe 2-3 days. The client has to register for Workpc Center, the employee or client, and then they have to go through a process, get a BC electronic ID, finish a small questionnaire, and then they would go to our needs assessment person to do the whole, to open a file for them, and then give it to our wage subsidy specialist, what's the name again?
Work experience.
Work experience specialist, thank you, Pushpinder, for her to produce the agreement and talk to the employer and get everything done. So at least a week would be ideal. Yes, 2 weeks, even better.
Okay, so ideally, if an employer is starting to hire, they want to apply at least 2 weeks in advance, and then the employee or the potential employee, there's a 3 or 4 day process. They need to go through a process in order to qualify. Is that correct?
Exactly. Well, to qualify, they qualify, but now they have to be they have to register, right?
Got it.
Yeah, it's just the paperwork that needs to be done. I also want to leave the employers with the knowledge that it is not a lot of paperwork.
No, it's not.
Paperwork we're talking about is paperwork we do on our end. For the employers, it's not a lot of paperwork. It's just basic information, because we need to do our due diligence. We need to make sure that we're using the funds appropriately. So we do our due diligence, but that's on our end.
Yes.
From the employer's perspective, it's not a lot of work.
No, it's not actually. And it's a fantastic benefit.
Now, I'm just thinking you talked about summer jobs. So you hire somebody for a summer job, they qualify, and now you want to bring them on full time, but you can't really afford it, or you're considering that contract ends. Would they potentially be eligible for this if that contract ended and then you were hiring newly?
Yes, because
or
of
wanting
the
to
change
keep
of
them on,
rules,
for example? Okay.
because of these changes, you can hire someone even if they worked for you before. Doesn't matter. I mean, ideally they were laid off, but in this case, a summer job, it ended, but now we want to hire them full time. Yes, you can apply for a wage subsidy.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do we know how long this program will be running? You talked about the summer job situation. So are we expecting it to be?
Oh, no. The summer job is just an example. The program, as far as I know, is for the foreseeable future. They just made all these changes, so there's no word of end. And the subsidy has been happening actually for many years. What changed now is the eligibility, that most people are eligible, permanent residents and citizens, of course, without EI attachment or without any other things. So that's the big change, and that's why we like to push for it more.
And the summer job program is a separate program.
Hmm.
It is a program I don't know, I think they changed the criteria, but it used to be a program designed for youth to get them into the workforce and to get them some experience. I think that's been it's been made more flexible, but our wage subsidy program with the Workpc, this is a Workpc wage subsidy program, has been going on for well, forever. The changes that they have made, as Alberto said, is now people who are accessing the subsidy do not have to be on EI.
And can have a knowledge of the employer from before, even if they were laid off.
Exactly.
And those are the biggest changes.
Yeah,
Right. So I was just wondering if that's temporary because of COVID, and if we know that it'll last 1 year, or do we not know how long this will last?
No, we do not know. Yes, it's because of COVID, because we want to get people back to work. But no, I assume it's here to stay. I don't know, if the NDP leaves one day, then maybe, I don't know. But for now, it is here. No expiration date.
Good question. Anything else? Well, perfect.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, and I'll let Alberto wrap up, but I just want to invite everybody that's on the call right now, if you have no questions that come to mind right now, but if you do happen, if something does come up, or if you are considering a certain employee or a certain candidate, then I want to invite you to call Alberto especially, because he's the expert.
If you got the flyer, this is the information, and this is in the back.
Call him, I'll call us, call the center, sorry, and maybe ask if that candidate that you're thinking of qualifies, or what the process would be, because our work experience specialist has the answers for you, is able to support you in the process, and it probably will take a few minutes of your time to clarify any questions that you have, so that you can gain the support that's available to all businesses in BC. That's it from me. I'll let Alberto wrap up.
So I'm looking at Stephen. So you had the same question, I guess. So you got the right answer.
Yeah, Stephen had the question about the summer jobs and
Okay.
contract ending and rehiring. So that's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and Nemi, you're right. That is still directed towards youth. The requirement for being a student is no longer there.
Okay.
Oh, we have someone coming in right at the end. Anyway, so we're just wrapping up. Again, if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to Alberto or Nimi. Would you mind putting your information in the chat? And then if I think people can download that and see that as well. But thank you very much for taking the time to be with here today. I think that this is an important information for employers, especially as they're looking to hire in the summer months as we reopen. I think it's exciting that we can see a future where you know, we can be kind of almost back to normal or back to normal. And I think that as that happens, definitely people will be hiring, and this process could make a big difference to not waiting to make that happen. So if you're planning on hiring full-time staff now, by all means, definitely reach out to Alberto and Nimi, because I think that'll make a big difference. And I want to give a shout out to the Connections program, which is a partnership between Workpc and the New West Chamber. Nimi is basically, she is your recruiter, and for no cost to you, and that's and she's got tons of experience. She has a lot of candidates available. She obviously has the backing of Workpc. So if you are interested in hiring for your business and finding candidates, reach out to Nimi, because not only is she extremely talented, she is totally awesome to deal with. So
oh, thank you very much.
I'm not, I would say that about Alberto too, but I have way more experience with Nimi because of our partnership. So thank you for taking the time. Dan, you're coming in at the end, but reach out to Nimi or Alberto. I think that specifically for you, this would make a big difference. And I think that we can go very well. Last chance for questions here. Let's see.
I'll just say one more thing, Arnold.
Yeah.
We have more services, not just wage subsidy. We're not just a one-trick pony here. And we can offer other things. We can short-term certification like first aid or food safe, or I don't know, warehouse, 1 day, 2 day courses,
And those are paid for, yeah.
And we can pay for those things, and we can help with cover letters, interview skills, and other things. That's a little plug-in for Workpc. Sorry, Arnold.
And the other important thing I
perfect.
think we need to mention is that we provide job starts,
Yes.
work year.
If you hire someone and that person needs a specific either safety clothing or some things for work, as long as we have the employment confirmation in a letter, can be an email, we can provide job start supports for the new employees. And we're happy to help.
That sounds like a whole nother webinar. Let's dig into that. But no, it's true. I think that ultimately what the lesson we want to take is, if you're hiring, use this resource. I mean, the government wants our employees to be successful so that they can be employed long-term. That's benefit for them, and it's also benefit for the businesses. So let's use the resources that are provided so that we can be successful in our organizations.
That sounds good.
All right, 45 minutes. That's great job, guys. So thanks very much for being here. Please spread the word if you know of businesses who are planning on hiring to reach out, and have a great day. And I think we're going to kind of shut it down.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Arnold.
Thank you,
All right, bye for
everyone.
now.
Bye-bye.